Emotional compartmentalization doesn't work, and the 5-step structure needed for peak performance emotional management. This is a very personal episode for me, and I hope it resonates strongly and loudly for as many of you as possible. I'm going to talk about how my mum's cancer diagnosis changed my trading forever. My name is Ash Playstead, trading psychology master coach, an active trader for the past 25 years. Thank you for joining me from wherever you may be in the world, and a very warm welcome to episode 42 of the Trading Psychology and Mindset podcast. It's Wednesday, November the 30th, 2022, here in Southeast Australia. It is the last day of summer, the last day of spring, first day of summer tomorrow. And as always, I'll be diving deep into what is needed to retrain the mind we bring to trading into the mind we need for profitable and sustainable trading success. The subject matter today, as I said, it's very close to my heart. As you know, I've been trading for a quarter of a century, 25 years, and I think it's reasonable to say I've reached a level of mastery where I derive a very solid and consistent income from trading the markets. What you wouldn't know is just how hard and treacherous it was for me. There were several inflection points, or what you would probably call sliding door moments, where I could have easily fallen out of trading forever. So today I would like to talk at a deeper personal level about one of the major vibration points in my life, which was the passing of my much loved mum. So I just want to talk for a moment about the law of vibration. That is something that gets commented on, and there's all sorts of content out there in social media in the world about the law of vibration. For me, the law of vibration is the most fundamental law of the universe, the law of cause and effect. For every effect, there is a cause. For every energy impulse, there is a causal event, whether it's the creation of the universe, right through to emotional trauma, right through to any event, nature and life. So the law of vibration is very important. And the way I described this in the lead up to this event was the effects of dropping a pebble into the center of a pond and the ripple spreading outwards. That is a very good mental image to have to describe the law of vibration. And if that pebble is big enough, those ripples will touch every other part of your life. Now, these vibration points in my life, right, they've reverberated very loudly, including into my trading. And the most important point was, I'm talking about this in hindsight, but at the time, I just didn't comprehend or imagine all of the ramifications of how this emotional event would impact my entire life, and particularly my trading. But of course, on great pain and challenge is great opportunity and great learning. And it really did become my greatest teacher, really the pivotal, life-changing event that took me through some deep pain, which was the blowing up of my account and a lot of soul searching, into really figuring out this emotional mastery stuff. So it was really my mum's greatest legacy. So just to give you a little bit more detail on that, this is 2010. I'd been trading for 10 or 12 years at this stage, but really treading water, backwards, forwards, hadn't really figured out any of the emotional management stuff, but managed to stay alive through some natural skill and learning, but not making money, not losing too much money. Now, when my mum was diagnosed in early 2010 with terminal cancer, this was like a bomb going off in the life of myself and my family. Obviously, that then became a journey towards, the ultimate passing of my mum. Now, what the really most important takeaway that I want you to take from this, as well as the 5 steps I'll talk about in a moment, focus your attention on the truth, the fact that you cannot compartmentalize the emotions from one part of life from the other parts of your life. And anyone that says that you can is frankly wrong. Now, in the sports world, the corporate world, business world, we do see that separation of parts of your life is perceived as not just helpful, but desirable. And we're conditioned to believe that, just park your emotions, just compartmentalize them, and it's lionized in society as a skill that we should aspire to. And perhaps there is some merit to that potentially in some parts of life. Maybe it works in those domains for a period of time. I would argue that emotional trauma, emotional pain always catches up with you. But in trading, like much of what it takes to become a master trader, to succeed in trading in the long run, the opposite is true in our domain. Okay, now, why is this the case? Well, you hear me often speak about 95% of traders ultimately don't make it. Whether it's 92, 98, 95, it's a lot. It's the vast majority. You'd ask yourself, why would you actually undertake something where the fail rate is above 90%? Well, trading is amazing. It's the most amazing thing on the planet you can do. I love trading, and it's a brilliant way to establish complete financial freedom around your life. However, there are reasons why the fail rate's so high. One of the most important to understand is that we work in trading in an accelerated decision-making environment. It's a compressed decision-making environment. Now, because we're having to make decisions in instantaneous real time about risk-taking, stop placement, entering a trade, exiting a trade, not entering a trade, all of our rules, all of those things are subject to the instantaneous triggering of our emotional responses, that when the brain perceives fear and links it to past emotional programming of trauma, of pain, the brain will automatically impulse to a survival mechanism, which is fight, flight, and freeze. Before your rational brain can come back online, which takes about a quarter of a second, your body and your brain is flooded with the chemicals of emotional response, which happens in about 3 to 6 nanoseconds. So by the time your rational brain gets back online, it's too late. Your thinking is already corrupted. You're cooked. Your decision-making is compromised, which is why so many traders step away from a trade asking themselves, why did I do that? I can't believe I just did that again. There's a reason for this, and it's because most traders haven't dealt with emotional programming, a big part of which is this false belief that you can compartmentalize emotions from trading. So I want to talk a little bit about what to do about it. Obviously, I want to make sure that I give you the right path to follow, to go in the right direction, to develop greater emotional management skills. So I'll list out these 5 steps, and then I'll go back and give you a little bit more detail on each of them. So number 1, set up an emotions audit. Now, this is not journaling. This is an audit process. Just as you would audit anything else, you are rigorously and critically analyzing your emotional background, your emotional story. What baggage, good, bad, and indifferent, do you bring to the table? So this is about understanding what events have happened in your life. Has there been grief, loss, trauma, drama, bullying, parental abandonment, self-esteem issues? There's a whole bunch of things that you need to go through and establish in a document about what your emotional structure and backstory is right now. Now, if this is a bit challenging for you, because some people find it really difficult to be alone with their thinking and go back into their emotional background, get some therapy, get someone trained, get someone who can help you comfortably step into that space and undertake that emotional audit. Number 2, establish a mindfulness practice to allow anything under the surface to bubble into your conscious awareness. You can't deal with things that are hidden behind your conscious awareness. So mindfulness is a very helpful way to do that. Exercise regularly. I think we all know the benefits of exercise, but particularly when it comes to emotional state management, a regular exercise routine, whatever it happens to be, is very important. Walking, running, lifting weights, whatever it happens to be, find something that you can regularly do as part of allowing yourself to process emotions and process experiences and let them out the other side. Exercise is very good for that, as well as all of the feel-good chemicals that exercise produces. Number 4, establish and utilize an emotions workbook, right? So this is a workbook. Some people might call it a journal. I call it a workbook to use in situ, i.e. in real-time trading. This is where you should record your emotional state in 3 different time frames. Before you trade, what's your emotional state before you trade? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are your emotions telling you? How do you feel during a trade? And how do you feel after a trade? Very important to document this, because too many people think that they don't need to do this and they can work it out later. Those emotions die down after you've traded, and with your rational mind, it's very hard to look back and establish how you truly felt emotionally at that time. So it's important to document these things in situ, in real time, so that you've got a framework where you know where your strengths and weaknesses are. Number 5, set up an emotion accountability mentor or partner. This was the big one for me. You need someone outside of yourself to provide further feedback, insights, and rigorous thinking. So just to quickly explain those a little bit more, the emotions audit process is to establish your baseline. What emotional stuff are you bringing to the table? This can be ongoing, but you need to have an audit process where you can regularly check in and update your audit. Just as you might undertake a fitness check if you're working out or you're training for, say, a running event, you're always looking to audit your progress. So where did I start from? Where am I at the journey? Where am I improving? Where am I not improving? So this is very important for an emotional management skill set growth, is you need to know your baseline. Mindfulness, well, having been in trading my whole life, essentially, I've never met a trader, never coached a trader, and my own case, it's true as well, that doesn't have mindfulness and or meditation as part of their regime. It is a sign of success, because success does leave clues. And one of them for successful traders, master traders, is mindfulness. Mindfulness is how you open the door to the mind. Mindfulness is how you deal with negative thoughts and the inner critic and that voice in your head without being tied up with it too much. Mindfulness allows you to step back and observe and let thoughts come and go. This is a great way to deal with emotional trauma. Mindfulness allows you to see the thoughts that generate from emotional trauma and let them go. Very important. And it also, as I said, opens up the door to the mind, where you can have a look at how your mind's operating, who is duking it out for control at the boardroom of your mind, and start to establish reorganizing that committee to serve you better. Exercise I've spoken about, that speaks for itself. The in situ emotions workbook, this is about having a 360-degree approach to where you're at. So having someone outside of yourself, almost like a personal trainer, it could be a coach like me, it could be a friend, it could be somebody you know who can play that role. They're almost like your personal trainer. They're the one who holds you accountable. They're the one who bring external insights, feedback, and rigorous thinking to how your emotions are looking before, during, and after trading. Number 5, and this can be tied to number 4, which I think I've said. So the workbook is the record keeping, and number 5 is the accountability partner to keep you on track as you're progressing along your growth journey. Now, in my case, I was very fortunate to have a good mentor and enough capital to try again. But I want better for you. I was a 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 who snuck through because I had some money from selling my business, and I had a really good mentor, not a trader, a really good mentor who was able to sit me down and help me work through what was going on and pointed me in the direction of the inner journey. Now, I want better for you. I want faster for you. And this is what powers me on, what motivates me to do this podcast and provide you real life learnings that have come from the hot and stressful coalface, not from some theory book or copied from elsewhere. Okay, so that's the big takeaway. You cannot and should not fall into the trap of compartmentalizing your emotions. What may be right outside of trading is wrong inside of trading. Inside of trading, you need to have opposite thinking, counterintuitive thinking. Emotions need to be addressed and mastered, not blocked, not avoided, not ignored, mastered. They'll always be there. The emotions don't go away, but you learn to master them. This is the key. Don't compartmentalize. Face those inner dragons. Get help if you need it and learn to master them. And I promise you, your trading and your life will improve. Now, before we finish up, I see a question in the chat that I want to address. This is from Bishnu in Bengaluru in India. Hi, Bishnu. The question for Bishnu is, what if you find out that you are just a very emotional person? Does this differ from an emotionally traumatic experience? I love this question. Very good question, Bishnu. The honest answer is yes, there is a difference in how you would go about resolving and moving forward from emotional trauma versus the process of reconditioning your emotional and rational mind partnership. That's what I do in my mindset reflexology courses, is help people completely retrain and reshape their mind so that their emotional and rational minds work together rather than in opposition. That's a different process than dealing with a one-off or an emotional trauma, the death of a loved one, a relationship breakdown, prior childhood experiences that may have left their mark. Those things are a different process. So you can be a really emotional person and be a fantastic trader. I want you to know that. I'm quite an emotional person, but I've learned to manage them really well. So that is the key, not whether you're emotional or not. It's learning to master and get those emotions to serve you rather than work against you, Bishnu. So, but if it's just a one-off emotional traumatic event, actually we can deal with that much faster. Okay, and that's a separate process. Great question. Thanks, Bishnu. That's it for today, folks. I really hope you've enjoyed this discussion. It's very personal for me. It's a key part of my learning, my journey. Some grief from my own past. These things we all face in life. The key to successful trading is the ability to execute what you're learning under the pressure and heat of trading while life is happening around you. That is the key. That is what we want to work on. Okay. So that's it for today. Before we go, there's a couple of ways of which I can help you if you want it. Head over to my YouTube channel, type in Mindset Reflexology into the search box. That'll take you to the Trading Psychology and Mindset show, which all of the past 42 episodes, including this one, a bunch of other training and educational videos, they're there to serve you. They're always going to be free. Go and consume those and learn. Okay, subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter. The reason I started the newsletter was because a lot of people were asking me, do I have something they can read, like a book or a newsletter, as opposed to watch and listen? So I created the newsletter for people that prefer to read, and I go into these discussions in more detail. So you can head over to LinkedIn, find my newsletter, subscribe, and that'll come to your inbox every week. Head to my website, mindsetfitmethod.com. My courses are over there, my Mindset Reflexology courses. If you want to go further and undertake some more detailed training, I've got both beginner and advanced options there. If you're in a position where you want help right now and you want to have a chat with me, DM me on LinkedIn or book into my calendar and let's have a chat. 20, 30 minutes chat can really change the course of your trading journey. Whether you take that information away and work on it yourself, or whether you choose to want to work with me more personally, that's up to you. But that 20, 30 minute chat will be super valuable. So wherever you may be in the world, thank you for joining me. And I wish you a week of mindful trading ahead. I'll see you at the same time, same day next week for another episode of the Trading Psychology and Mindset podcast.